If you happen to be a rather open-minded person by default, which you probably are if you're following my content, then be careful with the following mistake. This is a great mistake that open-minded people make. This is a mistake that I've made in my life because I tend to be rather open-minded by default, is that as an open-minded person, you tend to assume that other people are as open-minded as you are. And you tend to assume that, well, if it's easy for you to think relativistically and jump between different points of view, that other people can do it too. And that's the mistake. No, they can't. The majority of mankind is at such a level of cognitive development that they are incapable of jumping between different points of view the way that you and I can. That doesn't mean they're evil people. It just is what it is. And even if you are open-minded, you can still appreciate that there are other aspects of life that you're not open-minded about. Like, you could be open-minded within the realm of spirituality, but then you're going to be closed-minded within some other sphere. You see, like I said, you have to really look at it on a case-by-case basis. Get really micro with it. One of the things I want you to take away from this episode is I want you to start to feel and to notice in every instance where your mind is being closed. You have to develop that feeling ability by going through these exercises, by self-reflecting, by doing some meditation, whatever, some kind of mindfulness work. It's especially helpful when you're in a kind of an ideological debate or an argument with somebody, a friend, a family member, somebody on some online forum, whatever. You're in some ideological debate. It's really important to notice when you get wrapped up emotionally in that debate and you start to defend your position, and then you start to notice how it feels kind of dirty. Your mind is kind of closing down and you're just trying to defend that position, even though now you can almost tell there's a deeper layer of your mind which kind of knows that you're being ideological and you're going too far and you're pushing your position too much. You're not really hearing the other side. You're not really considering the other point of view, but you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. You've been there. We've all been there. Even the best and most open-minded of us have been there. And it's in those moments that I want you to awaken and to realize, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is that closed-mindedness stuff that Leo was talking about. I'm being defensive. I'm going on the counterattack. I'm being argumentative. Why am I doing that? And then get curious about that and explore deeper. That is what you got to, that's the work that you do to become open-minded. I did a lot of that work when I was a teenager, when I was doing philosophy just by myself. And that's ultimately what allowed me to get to the point where I'm at today, is doing that work. Most people cannot switch points of view easily, in the same way that most people simply can't juggle. They didn't learn how. They never practiced it. Nobody taught them. This stuff is generally not taught in school. Why does the mind tend to get closed? Because you have something to lose in letting go of a belief or a point of view. Your beliefs and points of views are not just frivolous things. They are intimately tied with your survival. So to let go of a belief or a point of view usually means a threat to your survival. And of course, when you feel threatened, you get scared. And when you're scared, you get defensive. And then by that point, truth has completely flown out the window. Now you're not really following the truth. Now you're just defending some bias you have because you need it to turn out some particular way, because that's what you need in order to keep feeding your family, or to keep maintaining your friends, or to sustain your marriage, or whatever. See, once the mind constructs an identity out of a belief or a worldview, then the mind becomes closed about it. Because anything you create an identity out of, anything you attach yourself to, it feels like it's you. So if you take a fundamentalist Christian or Muslim and you ask them to stop believing in their prophet and in their holy book, they can't do it. They literally can't do it, because it's such a huge part of their identity, because it's been so brainwashed into them. It's such a huge part of their identity. losing it feels like losing a part of themselves. And so, of course, their mind becomes closed to it. And again, this is not exclusive to just religious fanatics. This is also true of scientists. Take a scientist like, I don't know, Neil deGrasse Tyson or Sean Carroll or Richard Dawkins. Take one of these scientists and you'll see that they suffer from the exact same problem because they've created an identity out of science. Especially this guy, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's created such a huge identity and career out of science that his identity, his career, his life, his family, his ability to feed his children if he has them, I don't know, probably he does, I assume. All of them are, this is all so intertwined. His celebrity, his fame, his status, his money, his sex, all of it is intertwined so much with this, you see. It's such an incestuous relationship that he can't seriously question science, because if he ever seriously questioned science, his whole world would crumble. He would have an existential crisis. He would find himself sitting in a dark corner in his room with a revolver playing Russian roulette, because he would have such an existential crisis. You see, how are you that way in your life? So Neil deGrasse Tyson's mind is closed to certain things. Now, generally, he's open-minded about many things, but he's also closed-minded to many things. Higher things. We might say mystical things, non-dual things. So his mind is closed because the enemy of the great is the good. When you have a good worldview, it's hard to drop it for a better worldview, for an awesome worldview, for an infinite worldview, for something beyond worldview entirely. See, because your life hinges on it.